As most of you know, I teach painting, and in my live classes, I noticed that many of my students made the same mistake over and over again. Especially in my live critique sessions, I corrected the very exact problems on numerous paintings. So in this video, I show you the one mistake every beginner artist makes and how you can avoid it. Now, I'm going to first paint a quote-unquote bad example, not terrible, but something a beginner might paint. And I will show you the issue I have with it. Then I will paint the second improved version and show you how I corrected that mistake so that you can easily apply it to your painting. Now, let's begin with painting a pair of lips. For my reference, I use a photo of natural lips without lipstick to demonstrate my point better. I start by mixing a skin tone and evenly applying it onto the watercolor paper. I leave out the highlights while painting in the red of the lips. After having added a few layers with watercolors, I switch to color pencils to refine my painting. I add a balanced layer of color pencil pigments and blend out the paper structure with my luminance pencils. By the way, I have a list of all materials down in the description for you. We also don't want to forget the area around the lips, so let's add shadings there too. Now comes the best part. Let's bring the realism one notch higher by adding highlights with white gouache. Wow, that looks really nice already. Okay, one last step. Let's add a subtle contour and make the lips really pop. And done! Here's our first pair of lips. Let's compare it with a reference. Can you spot the problem? It's the contour around the lips. There is none on the reference. However, so many people always contour the lips on their portrait paintings, and other features of the face too, by the way. It's entirely unnecessary and even takes away from the realism. Beginner artists seem to do it because it's an easy way to distinguish facial features, but it diminishes the quality of the painting if you go for a realistic style. So let me show you how to do it the right way with my second example. I begin as I did in my first version. I paint the red of the lips, leave out the highlights, and then add the light skin tone. I paint a few layers for shadings, like the shadow under the chin or the dark line between the lips, before moving on to the color pencils part. And here is the first difference. Here we need to be super precise at every step of the painting process and draw out every shading we see neatly. No shortcuts, but more diligence. As you can see in the reference photo, there's a subtle light border around the bottom lips, not a contour. It's more like an area of skin that is lighter than both the lips and the skin tone. I achieve this lighter nuance with a white luminance pencil. I give each area of the painting the same amount of attention. Lips need to look soft and lush, so I draw with luminance pencils multiple times over them, which evens out every texture. The skin around the lips is as important as the lips themselves. Since we don't add a contour this time, there's no strong visible distinction between the lips and the skin around, so we have to pay attention to every slight variation in value and color. I add not only highlights with white gouache, but I also use it to correct any value mistakes. If you work with color pencils over watercolor, sometimes the dried watercolor is too dark and it isn't possible anymore to go lighter. So you have to use an opaque medium like gouache to achieve a lighter tone. I carefully apply gouache on some points of my painting and blend it out with a wet brush. If the gouache is thin enough, I can even draw over it again to refine certain areas even more. For example, the subtle indentation right over the highlight on the top lip, or the shadings under the white area on the bottom lip, are crucial to creating realism. You don't need a contour for that. Because of the different way I painted the second version, it took me inevitably longer than the first attempt. Of course, it's easier to draw a contour instead of drawing out all the little details, but the result is such an improvement that it's always worth it. I just take my time and don't rush it. And here you can see the two versions next to each other to really see what difference it makes. Applying these techniques can be difficult at first glance, but luckily you can follow every single step with helpful voiceover instructions on my Patreon page. By becoming a patron, you get access to over 200 painting videos, material lists and sketches to print out that bring your painting skills to the next level. Now, let me give you some more examples to show you how this little detail makes such a significant difference. These are paintings from my online courses, where we painted watercolor and mixed media portraits. I cropped the pictures down to the lips to demonstrate my improvements. Let's start with one pair of lips with a super bold outline. What I am doing here is adding a separate layer on top with the only purpose of smoothing out the contour. This is obviously digital and much easier than doing it traditionally, but if you want to add these changes to your paintings, you can create roughly similar effects with gouache paints. I lighten up the contour and blend it into the surrounding skin. And here is the difference between the before and after. I purposely erased the middle part of my digital layer to show you that the effect still works. The smooth border improves the realism and how convincing the lips will turn out. Here are more examples from my students. This technique works even on lips with lipstick, although some makeup artists really make it hard for us when they intentionally draw strong outlines around their model's lips. But you don't have to paint that. As important as the right technical skills are, it's just as important to have a place on the internet where your fans and clients can find and contact you, like a website. Which brings us to today's sponsor, Xiro. Xiro is especially relevant for upcoming artists, as they are the most affordable website building platform out there with the greatest amount of functionality. You don't need any programming knowledge. You can just customize everything with a drag and drop editor. You can also easily connect all your social media accounts to your website. It is so important to have your own online store, and Xiro makes it super easy to automatically connect your products to Facebook or Instagram without you having to bother about specifics. Their design is sleek and modern, and now you can build a website starting from only $1.53 per month, which is crazy affordable. Plus, they offer a 24/7 customer support. I honestly wish I had found out about Xiro when I first started my art business, because back then I had a very limited budget. So if you haven't got a website yet, you can save even more money. Take advantage of the Cyber Week exclusive special that Xiro is kindly offering to all my subscribers. Head over to the link in the video description and get up to 88% off plus 3 months free with any yearly plan using my discount code LEOBA, or visit the link in the video description. Now tell me in the comment section, are you guilty of doing this one mistake that I mentioned in the video? Let me know, and let me know if you could fix it. And yeah, I hope I see you in the next video, and I wish you a great painting day. Bye bye!